Hey everybody, welcome to Sweet Talk, the show where we talk about random stuff while we wait for our videos to render. Or in this case, while we wait for our costumes to fix. Today we talk about Mad Max. Okay, everybody, so it has been a long time since our last Sweet Talk. I think it's been about like a month or something.
It's been about there.
About 30 days. And a lot's happened during that time.
It has.
Yeah.
We have done so many things and stuff. But right now we're working on a pretty cool project, and that's why we're sitting here working on our costumes at 10 p.m.
Yeah, well, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, just a little spoiler. This is like a shoulder piece that we finished up here.
Well, who is it for?
We have no idea.
You probably will, though.
No idea.
No clue. And of course, special thanks to Jessica and Rick.
Jessica and Rick, you are amazing. There are two production designers helping us with the sketches and everything, bringing like the concept to reality, which is really cool.
This could be a fun project.
Yeah. So speaking of production design and spectacle and just props and everything, Mad Max.
Probably one of the coolest, my favorite action movie probably of this decade.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. Like, I haven't seen an action movie executed that way in a long time.
And it's essentially just a 2-hour car chase. Isn't it? Like a car chase battle.
Car chase, vehicle, chase, guns, firing,
like
action! So, Mad Max, that's an action movie that I haven't seen executed like that in a long time. Like the pacing and everything.
Yeah.
I thought that was very well paced.
It was very well paced. And the story itself isn't even that complicated to follow, but what I loved about it is that there was no dialogue describing, like nobody was telling you what was happening. It was all shown to you and you kind of got it. There was no exposition just from talking.
Yeah, well,
that's what I loved about it.
Yeah, no, same here. To be fair, like the whole. Okay, should I spoiler alert? Okay, spoiler alert. If you have not seen Mad Max,
I don't know what you're doing with your life.
Well,
sorry.
I do. You're not seeing Mad Max, such, please
what's the point
go watch the movie. We would both recommend going to see it. It's awesome. Diving right into it. So the point I wanted to make. So, as Harvey was stating. Mad Max doesn't really tell you information through dialogue or anything. It's all visual and shown to you. So the little girl that kind of keeps reappearing in Max's flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you could tell, like he's done some things, you know? And having not been familiar with the Mad Max series myself, like just coming into it, I kind of got like a feel for
who Max is, what he's been through, that he's been through so much crap that he's just been devolved to some animal, almost some primitive person. Or like Max says, as Max would say.
Okay, yeah, so were there any other instances where you kind of got that, where it wasn't really, like, any kind of exposition wasn't really said through dialogue? Like, can you give me another example, maybe?
One of the few examples I want to talk about is like the mother's milk, where nobody really describes what it is. No one tells you what it is, but in the first few scenes you see, spoilers again, that sort of thing happening. If anyone who's seen the movie will know what I mean. Anyway, and then later on, Mad Max asks, "What is this?" And he gets the answer that it's mother's milk. And you're like, oh, that's what that was. But nobody really describes what it is. Another example is, just kind of the world. The world is set up so nicely for you. So you can tell, like, this guy is holding up all this water. And he's obviously got something stowaway. Or the brides. Nobody ever says they're the breeding stock. Nobody tells you that. But you know that's what they're for.
And that's why
a healthy child.
That's why I can really respect the director and like just the film itself is because it doesn't spoon feed you.
Yeah, it doesn't spoon feed you, and you can tell he's trying to get a healthy child because both of his other two children are just really weird. They have really obvious health issues. He himself has health issues. Everyone else has health issues. The world was just so good. Witness me! So, yeah, I mean, I guess we're seeing this kind of movie. It's the second kind of movie that I've seen that's sort of like a one big scene. The other one, recent one, was John Wick.
I haven't seen that one.
It's not a 2.5 hour chase scene, but it feels like it's all one scene, and that's what. And I think that might be a new thing now that action movies are gonna try to do. I don't know if it's gonna be a trend, but it's
scene
worked pretty well.
Like you mean like in Mad Max, the story isn't super complicated. They're essentially going to get from point A to point B, right?
Yeah.
So are you saying that action movies nowadays, they're kind of aiming, well, if anybody emulates Mad Max, like they would want to do the very simplified point A to point B?
Maybe, yeah.
And
I mean, it's super entertaining. Yeah. I mean, that was a very entertaining movie.
Like, okay, it's really far for me to say this, but it was like a Cirque du Soleil with like automotive things.
And it was just awesome, and the clouds and the explosions.
Yeah, just how like grandiose everything was.
And what do they call him, the Doof Warrior?
There's a guy who plays the guitar with flamethrower coming out of it.
In a onesie.
Not flamethrower, flames coming out of it.
It's amazing. And they made it to actually work. It's an actual flamethrower. It actually plays. It's great. It's actually connected to the speakers.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, you can hear them rocking out as they're driving around. Everything's very practical. There's a bit of CGI, but they did everything as practical as they could without killing people.
I hope that is a trend, though, with like newer action movies. I hope that we go back to practical. Because if you can get it on camera, it looks a little bit more convincing than if you were to do it like CGI. Because CGI is kind of like, don't worry, we can put like an army in post. Don't worry, we can clone all these things.
I mean, not saying like that.
They didn't use post. Like I'm sure they did.
They definitely did, but it's to like all the explosions and truck explosions that you see. They actually went and tried to do that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
One thing I think that makes Mad Max super easy to follow, though, from all of the 2.5 hour crazy intense action and fast paced cutting. And I saw this, I don't know, I saw it on Reddit. So it was either on IndieWire or No Film School, but
plug in for the Reddit in real life video. Go click it. Go click it now.
Yeah, so one reason why it was so easy to follow, and one video will show you why. We're going to just quickly play that. Wait, here's the clip.
Roll the clip.
Roll the clip.
Roll the clip.
Compositionally, whatever was the centre point of that shot had to be in the centre of the frame. In the faster cutting that he's got, your eye won't have to shift on an anamorphic frame, won't have to shift to find the next subject when you've only got 1.8 seconds of
I never really thought about that when you were doing action scenes and stuff like that. Like how
you want it to be easy to follow.
Yes, like this is super easy. Your eyes just have to look at the center of the frame.
And that's the thing. This is the whole movie.
The theory of not having to move your eyes and being able to fast cut, and it just goes bang, 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 takes you into it. And that is basically the whole of the film.
Very insightful voiceover from the film's director of photography, John Seal. I believe. And that's super cool. And I think that's something we're going to try to possibly emulate on our new project with whatever this is.
That's what we have to do with previs.
Yeah, lots of action in our next one.
So yeah, we've been doing some choreography, and then the previs is pretty much like, as we do the choreography, the cameraman's there setting up the frame and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
But super cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that just makes things, super easy to follow. I never really paid attention to that.
Until I saw
I saw
that clip because
it makes so much sense now that you think about it.
Because I think like one thing you like learn about when you're first learning like camera framing is like rule of thirds, right? So it's like, oh, your eyes are drawn more to the right or the left, right?
Yeah,
so,
and it's one of those things like when we were learning to make movies, the people that were teaching us were, or just in general, like even photography. You want to stick to the rule of thirds, blah 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 blah. But that's not always the case. Like there's a bunch of other layers to it. But in this case, he's going smack dab in the middle in the center, and that's
well, it's great because he just focuses on what's happening in the frame as opposed to the actual framing. Yeah. So he lets the action speak more than the actual shots and composition, which is kind of like a cool concept in its own nowadays, because I think a lot of people get caught up with like, no, you have to
make it pretty, but then it doesn't flow. And I think when I was watching the movie, it flowed so well, and I really couldn't put my finger on what it was that made it flow so well. And there it is. That's why it felt like it was liquid into each shot, and that's amazing.
As for Jordan and Brendan, as usual, well, actually, Brendan, we haven't even mentioned Brendan.
Right. So Brendan's our new alpaca buddy.
Yeah, he'll be handling most of the alpaca cam behind the scenes stuff, as well as some social media aspects of what we do as well. So yeah. So I guess
you know what? Actually, we still haven't talked about the last project we did. It's just a prank.
It's just a prank.
Thank you to Schmizzy, aka
Schmiz Life, Schmiz Life, Schmiz Life.
Oh Jesus. Yeah. Thank you to DIVOT, aka Schmizzy, aka Marco,
aka Schmiz City,
aka Schmiz's Christ,
aka Adolf Schmittler.
It's funny because a lot of people thought that, like, when we were shooting it, we're like, no one's ever going to fall for this. But it turns out a lot of people.
Yeah, we had a couple of people actually
think it's
real. It was like an actual just a prank video.
Yeah, it's like you guys really think that he punched somebody. Didn't raise any alarm bells.
Not to mention the
no one's heard of, I don't know,
the Foley.
The Foley,
and it was just too good. But that was a lot of fun. Also, shout out to Stuart.
Yes. Was
from
UCSG or USCG?
UCSGC.
We're so sorry.
We're gonna put the name like right in front of us so we don't seem like idiots.
It's too late.
But big shout out to them. They provided the SWAT team and gear. Super professional. They do a lot of action stuff as well as like on screen stuff.
Yeah, so they helped us a ton, and their expertise in the
firearms handling and like how like they
actually go
teach
through the buildings and whatnot. Super cool.
Yeah,
fun
definitely.
Stuff.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody, that's our episode of Sweet Talks for this month. My name is Arthur.
I am Harvey,
and we'll catch you guys next time. You finish your drink?
Witness me. Moving back in the chair. Okay, coming back.